We have a real estate millionaire investor on the show today talking about the 2021 real estate market.
Stick around because you're not going to want to miss this interview.
But before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Cool, so we have a very special guest today, a mentor of ours. We're part of his Future Flipper Mastermind. We're friends and friendly competitors here in Las Vegas, Mr. Ryan Pineda.
What's up, guys?
Quick little round of applause.
Yeah. Golf clap.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, you had us on your show and on your podcast, so it's an honor to have you now on ours.
I know. Everyone needs to watch that one after this, for sure. That was a great interview.
That one was good. I actually enjoyed coming over. Like, we didn't even get to see the studio. Yes, that was our first introduction to the full studio build out. And I just liked sitting down and conversing with you. It was really nice.
It was great, man.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot about us and what we're doing and how we started. So today we want to kind of flip the script and go into more of what's Ryan Pineda doing in 2021. What's the real estate market in your mind look like? What your company's doing?
Yeah, so last year during COVID, I was like, man, what's going to happen? And, you know, we ended up doubling down and it worked out, thankfully.
You were one of the only ones that did that.
Yeah, I took a shot and it worked out, so that was good. But this year, everyone knows the market's hot, and so it's not like any secret to double down or like go all in. But I want to just say you guys have actually influenced me to go into luxury flipping, which I really have avoided for years because I just was like, hey, I stay in my lane, I'll do entry level, that's my thing. And then I'm over here watching you guys make hundreds of thousands on these flips. I'm like, hey, maybe luxury flip is not so bad.
Pay attention to this.
Yeah. So we're definitely transitioning into more of that. Still doing our entry level stuff, and we're spending more than ever on marketing, though. I actually just made the decision for Q3 to double the budget again.
Interesting.
What's a monthly marketing budget look like?
So throughout this year, we've been spending anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 a month, but now we're about to drop about $100 a month.
And you have a multifaceted marketing approach. So you have different channels, different avenues. Can you kind of summarize those?
Yeah, I would say our biggest spend is on TV commercials. We've been spending anywhere from 25, 30 grand a month, but we're about to jump that to like 60 grand a month.
So we're going to see a lot of you.
You are not going to be able to avoid me, especially in Las Vegas.
All right.
From there, we do a lot of cold calling. We've done that for years. It's been great. We just started doing direct mail, which has been very good as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your posts on the mailers lately, and it looks like it's making a pretty big return. What's that typical return that look like? 4 or 5x?
You know, it's tough to say because we just started doing it. I know with TV, our return's typically around 4x, but with direct mail, we should see higher returns. I mean, we already are, but you can't really judge marketing until you got at least 3 months of data.
Especially with mail.
Yeah.
You don't even start it unless you're planning on going 3, 6, 9 months in.
Yeah, and we've gotten, I would say, lucky that we've already gotten deals from it. But if you just started mailing today, don't expect like first month you're making money.
Right.
So
when it comes to all the different marketing that you're doing that we just touched on, is that feeding into the luxury flip side? Are you getting deals in the luxury space from that?
I wouldn't call the deals we've gotten luxury. I would say like mid-luxury. We've definitely gotten some $600,000-$700,000 homes.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, really nice homes. And the best part about those homes is most of them are pretty turnkey. It's like just clean them up and throw them back on.
It's so different from our model in a way because Jesse and I, and we've done multiple videos about this and talked about it on your show as well. Our marketing spend super low because we buy almost everything off the MLS. So it's crazy how we're in the same market, but don't really see each other a lot in the real estate side of things because we're working in one realm and you're working super heavy in another realm. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy how that works out.
Yeah, I think for real estate investors, just figure out what works for you. I mean, if you're just really good at the MLS, there's no reason to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. And for us, the MLS with entry level is extremely competitive, like as you guys know. We have bought a few luxury off the MLS, and I have noticed, it's way less competitive than entry level. So I think MLS is great for luxury, and it's like, dude, I mean, as you guys have proven, you can make a ton of money just only doing that.
Yeah, that's actually why we kind of drifted towards the luxury market, was because we just found that we're not going up against as many people. It's a little bit easier to secure those deals, and we saw profits increase as well. We said, wow, this is just a little bit easier. When people are zigging, you zag, right?
Well, I think too, you guys obviously have the experience with design and with just flipping luxury homes that you're not scared of it, right? Most newbies would not want to flip a luxury home the first time.
No way.
It is risky.
It is risky. It's daunting.
Yeah.
It's daunting. There's a couple more zeros at the end of everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you are trying to appeal to maybe a harder person to reach. The rich and wealthy who are going to be spending $2 million in a luxury home. I don't know if I know what they like.
Yeah.
That's kind of a newbie mindset, or is like, I don't know if I can appeal to them.
I wouldn't buy a $2 million home. How do I know what they want?
Much different, yeah.
For sure.
So how many homes are you guys at this year in 2021? What's your projections?
As far as deals go, I don't know how many we're currently at. I mean, the last couple of months we've been doing really well. We've been getting over 20 a month.
Wow.
And it's been crazy, super crazy. I don't know what we'll end the year at. My goal would be at least 150. So we'll see.
And those are a mixture of flip deals, wholesale deals. Are you keeping some of those?
Honestly, we're flipping almost everything at this point, just because the market is so good. It's like, I don't want to wholesale anything.
I hear that from a lot of people too.
Yeah,
the margins are incredible right now on the flips.
And by the time we go to sell it, it's already increased by 10%. And I'm like, what? Thankfully I didn't wholesale that. But yeah, it's interesting because at the start of the year in January and February, we were really slow for us. I mean, we did like 12 deals in January and February combined. I was like, oh boy, what's about to happen here? Like, we're going to have to make some adjustments. And then March was better. We got, I don't know, like 10 plus. And then around April, May, and June, like, we just started going crazy. Just like 20 plus a month. And, I hope that it continues, obviously, with the new budget. But we'll see. I'm just riding the wave, man.
Yeah.
What's your outlook on the wave? What's your outlook on the rates? We know we're going to keep rates low for another year or two. Inflation though, fighting against it. What do you think? How long do we have?
I just don't believe, and I've been saying this since COVID, that they can raise rates or do anything that would jeopardize the economy, because I think we're like hanging on by a thread, and they know they control whether that thread snaps or not, and they don't want to snap it. And so with the rates, they've already said, like, we're not changing them till 2023. Right. So for us as investors, really, like, two things are the main indicators of whether we're going to keep going good or not. It's interest rates and it's inventory. And so if we know interest rates are staying low, perfect. All we got to watch is inventory as it changes.
Mm-hmm. But what we have seen the last couple months, although extremely low still, we're seeing double-digit month-over-month increases. So, if that keeps going, obviously something to definitely watch on our end.
Yeah, for sure we got to watch it and just see, is it, a blip, and is it going to go back down? Is it going to stabilize at some point? Honestly, I'm waiting for it to stabilize. It's kind of going as expected. It was like, man, inventory just drop. Yeah, like, dude, okay, obviously at some point this is going to bounce back up, and now we're starting to see that bounce. So the question is, when's the bounce going to
kind of plateau?
Yeah. And I just don't think it's going to like plateau at a level that's scary for us. I think it's going to be a seller's market for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, for those viewers out here that don't know, a stable market's really considered about 6 months of inventory before it turns around. So we're at, like we were talking about,
less than a month.
Extreme low.
Still at maybe 1 month of inventory right now. So we have a long way to go till we get to that stabilization.
Yeah. Inventory could double, triple, and we still be at low inventory.
Yeah, and it's just when you think about what would make inventory rise, well, okay, interest rates going up, but we've said that that's not happening, right? People putting their house on the market just ready to sell. But the problem is, one, there's a lot of people in forbearance, so they can't sell regardless. Mm-hmm. But two, and this is actually the biggest thing we've seen with all of this marketing, is people would like to sell and tap into their equity, but they have nothing to buy.
Where are they going to go?
Yeah, and it's like you're just, okay, great, I'm selling at the peak, but I'm also having to go buy at the peak.
I'm a victim of that right now. I've thought twice about selling my house and buying a new one, but I there's nothing to buy. I cannot find a house I would want to buy.
Yeah, so that's the dilemma. And so if people just choose inaction, there's no inventory.
Right. Stay where we're at.
And personally, if I was living in a house with a low payment as a normal person, I would probably rather just stay where I'm at than try and go get a loan, buy a new house, have a huge payment. I don't know, man.
It could be a big lifestyle change if you choose that.
I know.
That's one thing I've thought about a couple times is, my lifestyle expenses are very low because I bought in 2017. So after refining a couple times, that may be the best bet is to go refi, get your payment as low as possible, get your living expenses as low as possible, and just wait it out.
Honestly, I think that's probably the best decision for probably most people watching this, for sure. I'm, on the other hand, building some crazy house, so don't listen to what I have to say.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Man, dude, speaking of lifestyle changes, I just found a really good deal on land. I was like, all right, I'm going to build on this, and since I put it under contract, which was literally about a year ago today, a year ago today, things were a lot different than they are today.
You bought it for what, $600,000? You said?
And when he says I found a good deal on some land, this is not your average parcel. Your average flat little piece of an acre, maybe or two out here. It's a mountain.
It's a mountain with full 360-degree views of town.
It's. Yeah, now looking back on it, it was like, why was I even negotiating? Even for $100,000, it was stupid.
Take it.
But no, the budget keeps going up because I've realized how valuable that piece of land is, and it is super rare, and it's just we have to do it right, and it's not the type of parcel where you just put an average.
Definitely not. No. This is where Tony Stark built a house.
We've seen the renderings a couple times, and they went from 4,000 to 6,000 square feet to 9,000 square feet to now how many square feet is it?
Between the basketball court and everything else, 20,000 square
feet.
But
that's important that you said that in a really educated way. You're not doing this because you're just being frivolous and this is everything I've ever wanted. I'm just going to make it crazy. You're actually methodically maximizing this piece of property.
That's what I like to tell myself anyway. But I think it's a combo of both. But ironically, I'm sure you guys saw they just sold the most expensive home in Vegas, $25 million, and I mean that's a comp for it.
It's down the street, right?
It's down the street, and I think mine's better. So we'll see. We'll see.
That was
that's a hell of an investment.
Yeah,
that was cool.
It's a good investment.
Cool. Yeah. Now that it keeps changing, you keep adding. Are you slated to finish in a year, 2 years?
We actually just filmed a YouTube on this where we asked my architect and my builder, behind closed doors, real world style, hey, what do you think it's really going to cost? And when do you think it's going to really be done? So you guys will have to watch the YouTube to see what
is that out yet?
Not yet, but maybe by the time this posts, it could be.
Okay.
If it is, we'll tag it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my ambition is much quicker than theirs. I'll just leave it at that.
Sure.
I'm not really too realistic, I guess.
If you keep moving the needle on it and expanding it, it's never going to be done.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, we're constantly revising. I'm like, let's just do this and this, and you know what? We got to have this. And we're like, really? Do you have to have that? I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to have it.
Yeah.
I need it.
I need the bowling alley.
Yeah, it's a need. It's not a want.
So we covered flips. We covered wholesaling a little bit. We got into your house, which I really wanted to get into. But one thing that I wanted to just touch on right now is the rental space.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a house that you're building right now. You obviously live in another house, and you own many other houses.
Right.
So how has the rental game been going? Are you still acquiring rentals? Because that is something we kind of kick ourselves for.
Yeah. So one thing I actually saw this morning, I don't know if you guys did, but Vegas is going to allow Airbnbs now. So they just announced that this morning.
That's huge.
The short term rejection got denied or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think in 2022 they're going to have to establish rules making it legal and whatever, kind of like Henderson. So that's exciting for rentals here in Vegas because they just never have penciled out traditionally. So I think I might acquire a lot more rentals now depending on how those rules play out for Airbnb purposes.
That's good for us. We have the Airbnb nightmare video where we bought one in Vegas, got it shut down very quick. So if you haven't seen that video, we'll tag it in the link below.
But you still own it, right?
We own it as a fully furnished rental.
Yeah, so, maybe a year from now, you'll be able to throw it back on Airbnb.
Convert it back.
We stumbled into that furnished rental space, and it doesn't work, like you said. Like, prices and rents just don't quite equate here in Vegas to like totally make sense all the time. But we've been able to find some and put them up for furnished rentals, and they do incredibly well.
Oh, yeah. One of our agents did that in Summerlin. He got like a condo that would typically rent for like $1,500-$1,600. He's renting for like $3,000. I'm like,
right. That's exactly what we're doing. Just typical standard homes that our mortgage on it's $2,400 a month, and
it would probably normally rent for that.
It would probably rent for that, and now we're at $4,000 a month with a 1-year tenant, which is fantastic.
And you don't have any of the Airbnb BS.
Right.
You're not paying utilities,
constant turnover and cleanings and all that. They've been pretty much set it and forget it now for a whole year.
Yeah.
And then we did a second one just to test it, whether it works or not. And our mortgage on that one's $1,800 a month, and we got a tenant in there for $4,300.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think it's a great space. I mean, it's like kind of a mini Airbnb with less headache, and it's legal. So I love that idea. I think for me, the returns on flips are so good right now that I'm like, dude,
it's so hard to say no.
Yeah, I'm like, we can't keep it. There's no reason to.
But do you have to buy rentals to offset some of the taxes? Because flippers, we're super heavy revenue business.
Right.
That's a good point.
And that's a problem that Jesse and I are falling into is we're making all this money, which is great, but also what's our tax bill going to look like? Because we don't have the $60,000 to $100,000 a month marketing expense to hedge against it.
Right.
So our only option right now is pretty much buying properties.
Yeah, and I think buying properties is great. I mean, that's what I've traditionally done to this point. I'll buy a few rentals every year. But now I'm actually doing something a lot different, which is starting my fund. And so we just got that done with the SEC. It took like 4 months, everything. And I've just realized for me to offset my income at this point, I have to buy like crazy big deals.
Yeah.
And so we started this new fund. We're getting ready to raise $10 million, and we already have a 300 unit under contract.
Very cool.
We're going to buy that. That'll help me. It'll help our investors as far as depreciation goes. I mean, it's a $20 million building that is going to be worth $30 million.
And the fund is called Pineda Capital.
Yeah, Pineda Capital. You got to be an accredited investor to invest. That's the crappy part about social media is that you can't take everybody if you're going to advertise on social media. You can only do accredited.
Sure, and I'm sure you get a lot of people reaching out.
Yeah, they're like, can I invest this? I'm like, I wish, but I'll go to jail.
Yeah.
You got to play by the rules.
Yeah.
That's a huge business venture. So congrats on evolving to that point. Obviously it takes a lot of work to put something like that together, and you have to be able to build the credibility within yourself for people to trust you and put their money in with you. So
yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. So we had a great time today with Ryan, a good friend of ours, talking about the 2021 state of the real estate market. It sounds like everything's going really well for everyone in the real estate world. So if you're a viewer investing, keep on investing. It's going to be good for the foreseeable future.
Ryan's been an amazing asset to us, an amazing mentor to us.
No, I appreciate that, guys. And to everyone watching, make sure you guys are subscribed. I'm subscribed to their channel, and I love watching your guys' videos.
Thank you so much. And until then,
we'll see you on the flip side.